Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be doing this end of the year review, setting intentions for 2024. I'm going to ask that you all double check that your video is off and your sound is off, just so there's not a lot of extra feedback. We will have a time of question and answer at the end, so we hope that you'll stick around so we can do a little bit more interactive piece at the end and get some feedback and hear the things that you've written down. I definitely encourage you to go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen or a journal, pencil, something to write with, because we will definitely be taking some time to write down some goals, some challenges, and all of that good stuff. We are recording this so that we can send you the replay afterwards. Again, we ask that you keep your video and your sound off till the end. That way we can all focus in on what we're presenting. So I'm going to go ahead and start. My name is Landrie Ethredge, by the way. I'm the founder and CEO of Ethredge Counseling Group. We're located on James Island, right on the corner of Maybank and Folly Road. We serve women primarily, although we do work with men and couples as well, but we focus in on adults. And so I'm going to start us off with a short mindfulness exercise just for us to take a moment and ground the present moment. So if you would just close your eyes, or if that feels uncomfortable to you, just lowering your gaze and taking a deep breath in through your nose and long, slow exhale out. Maybe the biggest breath of the day so far. One more, breathing in through your nose. And long, slow exhale out. You can continue breathing normally with your eyes closed, just focusing your attention down to the soles of your feet. Noticing your feet in your shoes, maybe wiggling your toes, just bringing awareness to your feet grounded on the earth. We're going to continue that body scan up your leg, noticing your calves, your shins, just bringing awareness to the lower part of your legs, up to your knees. And here we're just noticing, we're just an explorer, seeing what's present today in our bodies. Bringing our awareness up through our thighs, maybe feeling the weight of your body in the chair. Bringing your awareness to your hips and your pelvis from front to back, side to side, top to bottom, just noticing what you can notice. Bringing that awareness up through your abdomen, your stomach. Notice, do I feel a little queasy today? Do I feel settled? Bringing that awareness up through the back of your spine, up through your mid-back. Holding your back in your awareness. Again, no judgment, no trying to change anything, just noticing what's there. Bringing your awareness up through your shoulders. Notice, am I holding tension there? I know my shoulders often creep up near my ears. Again, not trying to change anything or judge anything, just noticing what's present. Bringing that awareness down your arms, your upper arms, your elbows. How many times a day do we focus in on our elbows? Bringing awareness to our forearms, our wrists, our hands. Are your palms damp or cool, warm? Holding your whole arms in your awareness. Bringing that attention back up to your shoulders, your chest, noticing the rise and fall of your breath. Not trying to change your breath in any way, just noticing it, noticing the movement. Bring awareness to your neck, your throat, your jaw, maybe holding some tension there. Your face, your cheeks, your nose, your forehead, your ears, the back of your head, the crown of your head, and zooming out and holding your whole body in your awareness. Notice if there are any emotions present. Maybe you're noticing a sense of calm, or maybe a sense of worry or anxiety showing up to a workshop. Whatever it is, just let it be there. Bring your awareness back to your breath, taking a deep breath in through your nose. Long, slow exhale through your mouth. One more time. Long, slow exhale through your mouth as you open your eyes. I know I need to do that more often. Awesome. All right, well, we're going to dive in. I'm going to hand it over to Etta, we're going to be tag teaming this, but Etta's leading the charge. And I'm going to grab my paper so I can do some of this journaling too. So Dr. Etta Gantt is here, and I'm going to hand it over to you, girl.
Awesome. Well, thank you for getting this started. Oh, are we echoing? Okay, it's good. Thank you for getting us started. That certainly got me feeling in the right headspace to tackle into this. But let's see, I gotta go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Well, like I said, I'm super excited to be here with y'all. I love setting New Year's intentions. It's always a lot of fun for me. For several years now, I have set a word for my new year. And so that's kind of where we're going to land on this, but it's something that I've been doing for years. So it's something I'm passionate about and that I really love. So we're going to land on one word. That's going to be our intention for the new year. That's going to reflect all the energy that we want to embody. But before we do that, we're going to kind of travel back in time a little bit, reflect on our past 4 years, actually, not even just this past 1 year, but our past several years, to kind of look at all the places we've been and all that we've come through, so that we're kind of approaching our coming year with an acknowledgement for our strengths and our resilience and all that we've done so far. So one of my big hopes for this workshop is that we can approach our goals that we're setting and our intention that we're setting with self-compassion versus maybe some self-hate or this idea of new year, new me. Because to me, that implies that the you that you are right now is doing something wrong, which I highly doubt. And so I want us to really build on the strengths that we have, as well as acknowledge the things that we might want to be different or the areas that we might want to grow, without looking at those as deficits in us, but just growth areas, if you will. But I'm really excited to do this with y'all. So like I said, we'll kind of look in the past, kind of reflect on our past 4 years. That means actually before COVID, which is going to probably take a lot of mental energy to go all the way back to 2019. And then kind of look at our big goals, our aspirations. So the big goals are stuff like thinking about being fitness oriented, financial oriented, creatively oriented, social, like kind of things like that, kind of finding our target areas that we want to grow in or improve on, and then coming up with more little goals, like attainable, like going on a walk once a week, or making one new friend, kind of things that are measurable that throughout the year you can check back in on and see where you are with those. And then we'll land on our one word to finish up the year. And I'm really excited to get there with you. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and move on. Oh, and so we will be doing some reflecting, and like Landry said, hopefully you can write some stuff down and, come up with your own answers throughout this. And I'll give you a little bit of time to do that, but it'll be brief, and we'll send you the slides and the presentation afterwards if you want to spend more time going through all this. But we'll give a little bit of time to kind of write stuff down.
Yes, and
So
if anybody would like the replay and or the slides, just message me your email address and I'll get that to you after this afternoon.
yeah. So luckily Landry already kind of did a little meditation to help us ground into ourselves, but I'm going to ask you to go all the way back to 4 years ago, 2019, and think about 2019 to today, January 4th, 2023, I think. And think about all that you've overcome, all the successes you've had, all the changes that you've had, because I imagine that there has been a lot that's happened since then. So take some time to think about that. I have provided an example that we're going to use throughout this presentation by a lovely woman named Candace. And so I'll share with you throughout the presentation her challenges, changes, successes of the past, and then her goals for the future. And so these are good examples of how we're going to approach our intention setting. So since 2019, Candace had some serious challenges. She lost both her grandmother and her uncle. She broke up with her long-term partner. She had 2 years with the worst boss ever. She was not happy at that job at all, even though it did have a lot of good benefits. And she moved to a new city at the start of COVID, which if any of y'all had that experience, that was pretty grueling and very challenging to be in a new place and experience a lot of isolation and have a lot stalled and trying to figure things out. Within that, there's lots of changes. Like I said, she moved to a new city and then twice to new apartments within that new city. Her family grew. She got 3 nieces. And she left that job and started with a new company. So she had a job change, like geographic change. Her family grew. And she also had a lot of successes and she had a lot of personal growth. She survived COVID, which we all know they're very challenging. She built her savings account a lot, which is incredible. I wish I could say the same. Certainly don't have that. And she joined a gym for the first time ever. That was a big change. She had never been like had a gym membership. And she got herself going at least once a week. 2022 was her best year. She felt really consistent about it. And she started building some relationships with people there. She also made 3 new friends, and I'm talking about like the really good friends that she never knew before 2019, and now they're people that she trusts dearly. And she found,
That's huge.
yeah,
3 new friends. That's a big deal.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard to make one new friend, but 3,
Yes.
that's
And
pretty.
these were like really good ones. So she's got a strong social support. Um, and she found a new job. She left the job with a terrible boss and she is excited about this new job and she feels like it's somewhere she can really grow. So as you can see that there are lots of challenges, lots of changes, and lots of strengths and successes that she is already carrying into her with the new year. She kind of had a mentality that she felt like things weren't that great for her, but looking back on her successes and her strengths, she kind of grew a little bit more confidence as she was looking at 2024 and coming up with some new goals. But I'll give you a little bit of time to kind of digest this and write down what's coming up for you as maybe your major challenges, changes, or successes over the past 4 years. So again, that's a long stretch of time. There's a lot that can happen in that time and then a lot that you're bringing into 2024.
Yeah, and again, this may be more of an overview, and you may want to go back and do this a little bit more, do a little more in-depth one because it is covering so many years. And it's really interesting. I'm finding there's like one year in particular, I can't really remember what was going on that year. And then there's other years that really, were really jam-packed with a lot of challenges, or one year in particular, a lot of successes, I feel like I'll have to go back and like look through my Instagram or something to refresh my memory of what was going on that year. Maybe I just blocked it all out.
All right, so now we're going to take it to today. So this is really grounded into how you're feeling right now on January 4th, 2024. And I want you to think about today, and what you're identifying as your strengths about who you are and about your lifestyle. So for Candace, she identified, I'm determined, I'm hilarious, I maintain an active social life, and I'm really good at budgeting. So you can see the first two are like personal strengths of her personality, of her characteristics, of the person that she wants to be. And then 3 and 4 are about her lifestyle and her actions and behaviors, if that makes sense. And then we've got our growth areas. So these are the 3 areas we would like to grow personally, or that we feel like our lifestyle could improve. And it's really important that we approach these with self-love. So I don't want your number 1 to be I'm an insult to myself. So something rude or cruel to yourself. But maybe, so Candace came up with, we had to work hard on this one, I want to like my body more. So that's how she identified her physical growth that she wants to achieve without identifying with self-hate. And furthermore, we came up with, I want to be more confident, which kind of grew out of that as well, of coming into a room and feeling just proud of who she is and feeling competent and like she can be the person she wants to be in that room. She also identified that she wants to decrease her anxiety, and that she feels like she hasn't moved past her breakup. And again, the last 2, she really didn't have necessarily self-hate towards those things. They just felt like, yeah, I do feel like my anxiety gets in my own way, and I haven't really gotten over this breakup. And by that, I mean, I haven't really put myself out there again, and I'm thinking that's something I might want to start doing. So you can write down, 4 strengths, 4 areas to grow. You can write down a million strengths, or, a few more areas to grow. We want to kind of target those in, but we will do that while we're kind of setting our big goals and aspirations. So yeah,
I'm
just take
finding it easier to list my growth areas. Do you think that's normal?
Yeah, it certainly is. However, I would like to challenge y'all to do the opposite. Maybe for every growth area, have a strength to match it, or even have more strengths in growth areas. All right. So now that we talked about, how you're feeling right here today at the very, very beginning of 2024 of the new year, we're now going to kind of shift gears to look forward. So we've looked into the past, we've grounded into how we're feeling about ourselves and our lives right now today. And now we're just going to look forward into the new year about what we expect to come, or what we know is going to be coming, and what strengths we're taking into the new year. So this is about looking past January. It's about looking past, this month and this hypothetical new person that we might want to be, but actually just looking at what this year is going to look like and acknowledge that we're going to be this person growing throughout this entire year. So taking it back to Candace, she has an exciting year ahead. She's going to Italy, a trip she's been looking forward to for a really, really long time. Her best friend is getting married, and she's super excited to be with her, to also be around her family at that time because she's from her hometown, and to reconnect with all kinds of people within that. And she's got her first nephew on the way. She has 3 nieces, but she's excited for a nephew. And then we've always got challenges that we might expect coming up in the new year. So she moved to this new job, which it's a much better environment, and she feels really positive about her boss and the room to grow, but it was a slight pay cut. So slightly less spending money than she had at her old job. So that's a foreseeable challenge. And she's also a little bit worried that she might be too busy to maintain an exercise routine. She's going to be traveling a lot. She's going to Italy. She's got this wedding coming up, which includes for her a bachelorette, a wedding shower, a engagement party. Like, it's lots of social engagements throughout the year that she's going to be traveling for. And she's really nervous about how busy this is going to be, even though she is excited about it. And she's nervous because her mom has MS, and that's been acting up again. And that's really that weighs on her a lot too, and she's nervous about the changes that might come if her mom's condition worsens. So there's definitely some challenges that she expects might come up this year and that she's nervous about. But back to her strengths and what she's taking into this year, which reflecting on the past helped us do this a lot. She has a solid savings account, which was a huge strength that she had. Again, very jealous, but that kind of helps balance out that slight pay cut that she has with this new job and helps her feel kind of relaxed about this trip to Italy, that she's going to be able to keep up with this trip that she's planned for a long time. She's got a super supportive roommate, so that's been a great change for her as well when she moved to her new apartment. She and this roommate get along really well, and they're always kind of helping each other out throughout the week with little things like taking each other's dog out or helping with cooking dinners together and stuff like that. And she's feeling really determined right now. Like she said, that was her strength, is I'm determined. And she's really determined to build her momentum at work. So she's really excited about, even though there's been a lot of challenges within the past few years about her job, she's really excited about moving forward professionally right now. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in 2024, and this also can kind of help us to make decisions about our goals and, maybe identify some of the obstacles that might come up with achieving our goals, like being too busy to exercise, even though that's an area she wants to grow in. So it kind of helps us to problem solve a little bit if we can identify things that might be obstacles. So yeah, we'll give like 30 seconds to a minute to kind of think about this and think about what is coming up within the new year.
I really love writing down the things I'm excited for. That is so helpful for me.
Okay, good.
Just stem off some of that, winter depression that sets in. Good to think, list off one big one for me that I almost forgot to write down is that I'm an aunt for the first time. I have one sister who just had a little girl, and my other sister is about to have twin boys. So that's definitely going to be under the excitement and the foreseeable challenges section, I think.
Yeah, that's very exciting and some big changes. I'm
Yes.
excited for a lot less changes this year. It's like a year of more stability for me, so I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to kind of get more into that goal setting. So we've looked at the past, we've looked at how we're feeling about ourselves right now, and we've looked at what our next year is going to look like. So these are our aspirations or our big goals. So they're kind of identifying those target areas that we want to set goals in, that we want to work towards. But it's really, really important that we approach these with self-love and considering our strengths and growth areas. So we're going to want to avoid value-laden goals. Like Candace wanted one to be get skinny. And that is approaching it with some self-hate, with some maybe unrealistic expectations from society, from herself. And it's also just not attainable. It's not really like a measurable, healthy, oriented goal. So we're kind of coming up with more self-love approaching goals and kind of more vague goals too. These are our aspirations, so they can be more vague. It's kind of just targeting areas, but with a wellness approach, which means we're focusing on our strengths and we're focusing on specific areas that we can improve personally and within our lifestyle. So we try to get skinnier to be physically healthier. So we talked about approaching exercise as a way to move and love our bodies versus a way to change ourselves, and a way to, we build self-esteem by seeing how much we can move and do an exercise versus trying to meet some made-up goal in our head about how we're supposed to look. But the other areas that we decided to move towards were in the romantic department, which again, we had to alter it from she wanted to get a new partner to just putting herself out there romantically. a lot of these goals, we tend towards things that have like external forces that may be working for or against us, but we have no control over. So she might get out there and start dating again, but it might not be this year that she finds that right person, and setting a goal that she has to find that person this year could kind of be detrimental to her. So instead, we're just working on putting herself out there again without expectations of it having to be this one thing. And again, the third one we identified career oriented, but she wanted it to be get a promotion. And again, there's only so much we can do to control that. There's external forces working against that. It might not be this year that she's able to move up to the position that she wants, but there's certainly tons of opportunities for her to grow in her skills and networking and her skills and putting herself out there at work and letting herself be seen at work, because she is super excited about this job, but she's still kind of getting her footing there, and her boss is really supportive. But it's okay to just kind of focus this on building skills. It's like the idea is that it's hard to explain, but we're like tending to a garden to attract the things that we want, or to cultivate the things that we want. So we can't expect the butterfly to land in our garden, which might be that promotion or the perfect partner. But we can behave in certain ways that will attract those things or help us to reach towards those things. And even if they don't, we've created this beautiful garden that is ourself. And it's still beautiful whether those butterflies land in there or not. That might be a little bit too far out there, but that's one way I like to think about it.
No, I think that is so helpful, because I think in years past, when I was in my 20s for sure, my goals were like, yeah, be skinny, get a boyfriend. These things that I don't actually have control over. And I love the way that you're approaching these aspirations, is they can be kind of vague. They're things that we're moving towards, but they're also things that are really in our control versus outside of our control. Like, my goal might be to go on a walk every day and and lift weights twice a week. That may or may not equal weight loss, but it does equal health, right? And that's such a, I don't know, a kinder, healthier, well-being focused, self-compassionate, and useful goal to have than these things that we don't really have control over.
Yeah, like we have control over the things we can do that might help these things happen, but there's so much that we don't have control over in life. So yeah, take this time to think about think about it as like target areas that you want to grow in, that you want to improve, or that you want to do different. So these could be things like having a more fulfilling social life, having a more balanced social life, being physically healthier, being emotionally healthier. If you're someone that's experienced a lot of anxiety, or depression, or stress, emotional health can improve with that, and that's a target area. Just like communication skills are improved, like within improving your relationships. Maybe it's learning to relax more, maybe it's feeling more confident. Those are all examples of kind of bigger aspirations that we can kind of come up with little behaviors or little goals to help meet them. But for right now, we're just thinking of like the target areas that we want to work towards this year. So if you can think of 3, I think that's a great place to start.
I'm excited once we're finished presenting. I'm hoping other people will share some of theirs. I'm getting curious about what people are writing down. I'm over here writing down mine, but I want to know. I'm curious.
All right, so now we're kind of getting into what those little behavioral changes are, or what those little things that we can actually do to help us reach these aspirations. And we're going to make them specific because they're going to be consistent. So they're things that you can look back at in October and see where you're at with them. And if you're not there, that's totally fine. You can start over. Not a big deal. It's just kind of like we're approaching these with love, and we're approaching these with realistic expectations, so that you could pick it back up later in the year. And you're not looking at it like, oh, I failed because I didn't do X. So I'll give y'all examples through Canvas about what this looks like. So like her 3 growth areas are be healthy, date again, which isn't exactly what we said, putting herself out there, but that didn't quite fit into the thing. And grow professionally. So for be healthier, and that was about physical health. There's all different kinds of ways you can be healthy. We came up with buying 2 items of fresh produce weekly. So these don't have to be your goals. You may fall anywhere on the spectrum of what your eating habits are like and what your exercise habits are like. But she rarely ever ate or bought produce, but she loves it. She absolutely loves eggplant. So there's something she's already interested. I love eggplant too. So it's something she's already interested in. But we're kind of building on
That's
that.
cracking me up because I literally just had eggplant yesterday. So anyway.
Really, I love eggplant too, so I get it. But this is something that she was already interested in that she likes, but she just never does. She always kind of runs in and out of the grocery stores and is a big frozen food person, even though she actually really likes cooking and she really likes experimenting with different vegetables. So we just talked about doing that weekly, buying 2 items of fresh produce weekly, and that also means consuming those items. And then kickboxing twice a week, which felt like a little bit of a stretch. Because at this point she was usually doing like once a week. She loves kickboxing though, so she was usually doing that like once a week, but felt like it was really hard to get it in a second time, but she usually like went on a walk or did something else. But she felt like this was attainable and she was excited about it because she loves kickboxing and it's a great outlet for her. So we went for it. She would love this to be a part of her routine, doing this twice a week, and she believed it to be attainable. And then we kind of tackled that foreseeable challenge of being so busy and traveling so much. She was worried it would influence her ability to maintain her exercise, as getting active one time while traveling. So when she is traveling or out of town for wedding stuff or whatever, we talked about how she can still go on a walk in these places with a friend. A great way to connect, especially if she's going to be in Italy. She thinks she's probably going to be walking a ton. It also is things like dancing. That's a great way to move your body, and I always find that I get like tons and tons of steps after weddings because I just dance the night away. And she gets a lot of joy from that as well. So these are 3 goals that we came up with about putting herself out there romantically, or maybe getting involved in dating again. And one is to speak her intention 3 times, which specifically meant sharing this intention to put herself out there again with 3 friends that she trusts. So one, she's letting people know that that's something she wants to do, and she's letting them know, hey, if you know anybody that you think would be a good match, maybe we could, try to set us up, or, we can all just let me know if you're going to do something with that person and I could try to be there or whatever. So just kind of like letting people know that it's something she's interested in and just kind of getting it out there, because since she broke up with her partner a year and a half ago, she really has just not been interested at all. She's felt pretty shut down from that. It was she felt like it was a breakup that needed to end, but it had been a part of her life for so long that she's just adjusting to this big change. And we talked about introducing herself to 3 people that she could see herself being interested in romantically. And that's throughout the year, 3 people. So maybe it's at the grocery store, maybe it's at a wedding. I keep throwing weddings out. But that was just something that she had thought about a lot this coming year. Or maybe it's at a restaurant. And then journaling every other week about her past relationship and about what she's looking for in a partner, because she really felt like there was maybe some lingering stuff from that past relationship that she hadn't worked through, and that might be keeping her from having put herself out there again in the past. And again, this goes back to some of her not feeling confident in herself. So we talked about journaling about her confidence, her strengths, her insecurities, getting it all out there so she could have a full understanding of herself. And then finally, grow professionally. So like I said, she really wants to move up in this job. There's a slight pay cut and she loves this company, but she really wants to already go to the next place. And we don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we talked about things that could help her grow her skills professionally and could maybe make that happen. These are things that the company appreciates and looks for. So we talked about speaking up in 5 staff meetings. She says that she doesn't usually say much in those meetings because it feels like it's usually the same people talking, but she does feel like she has ideas, and they're weekly meetings. Sometimes they don't have them, but typically weekly meetings. So just speaking up in fives throughout the whole year. So it doesn't have to be that she's interrupting, if you will, because she felt like it's predominantly like her bosses are ranked people talking, but that there is space for people to bring stuff in. And so when she has that, to bring that in, and taking the lead on one project, these are big projects that take a long time. So just taking the lead on one project felt appropriate and like it would be a challenge for her to really step into something. And then she talked about how she really likes giving feedback to coworkers, but she feels nervous about it, but it's something that is a regular occurrence at the office. So we talked about providing detailed feedback to one coworker weekly. So these are all really specific to her job and the ways that she feels like she can grow. And they're also stepping into that confidence piece where she was really hoping to feel more confident in herself this year. That was one of her growth areas that she had identified. So if you had identified 3 aspirations or big goals, now's the time to kind of come up with little goals that you can look at throughout the year that match those. And I just remembered one of these goals even could be if you're, wanting to work on your physical health, your wellness, is like going to your annual doctor's appointment, going to the gynecologist, those things that we avoid, but that we're supposed to do regularly. And not just being your one thing, but you're still attending to yourself. And you can do that at any point throughout the year, but just having it there is that's going to be one thing you're going to do this year. All right, so we're nearing the end here of coming to our final word. So we want this word to be really reflective of the little goals that we just came, but really those aspirations and those growth areas that we identified at the beginning. It's that energy that we really want to embody. And so a little bit about your word of the year, and I'm really glad that we did so much before we got to this point, because I think it sets a really solid groundwork for us to get here. But I just want to share a little bit about some of my words from the past, about what some of your words could be, and just a little conversation I had with friends about their word. Because well, this past week, and I'll just go ahead and get right to it. I had asked a couple of friends, what's your word of the new year? And it was without, doing any of this prep work. I just threw it out at them and they're both like, better, better. I want this new year to be better. Like, this is going to be my year. It's just going to be better. Like, this past years were just terrible. And I was like, okay, yeah, totally get you just wanting things to feel different, things to be better. That's what we always want. But better is implying maybe that you're bad right now. So it's maybe not approaching it with as much self-love. And it's not necessarily something that we can actually work towards or like identify. It's not really approaching with self-love or intention. And as soon as I said that, they're like, actually, my word's clarity. I just really am wanting to feel and experience clarity as I'm making decisions, as I'm approaching all these changes this year. And another one said clean. I'm wanting to just get rid of a lot of my old behaviors, a lot of my junk, and feel refreshed throughout the year. I'm ready for some positive changes.
So interesting that right away their word was better, which totally is in line. I'm sure everybody has seen like all of the New Year's memes on social media. It's like, I saw one girl, she's like carrying out the trash and the trash is labeled 2023, like this idea of like, oh, let's just get rid of it. And we just need it to be better. There's this longing for something better. But once you kind of like pulled back the layers, there was something so much more profound ready right underneath that word, under the word better. It was really more specific to clean, or what was the other one? Clarity.
Clarity, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and to me, if the past few years have been terrible, I can totally relate. Well, this past year was great for me, but the ones before that, terrible. But it shows how much strength and resilience that we're bringing into the coming year. If they have been terrible, it shows how much you've been able to go through and how amazing it is that you get to move forward now with some new intentions. But some words that are examples are gratitude, acceptance, surrender, joy, clarity, like I said, renew, family, rest, try. push. These are all just ones that I wanted to throw out just to kind of get you thinking. And I wanted to share that this past year, 2023, my word of the year was gratitude. So I knew that I was going to have some really amazing things happen for me. I got married and I finished my dissertation, which were two just life-altering, huge, wonderful things for me. And I also knew there was going to be a lot of stress with both of those things. And with I was having a big move. I moved here from Tennessee. And just had a lot of changes that I knew were going to come with stress, but I really wanted to be able to enjoy these huge special moments that I was having and that I had accomplished. And so that I chose it as my word of the year, and I do feel like it helped me. But it's funny, like throughout the year, there's challenges that I did not see coming. I lost a lot of my belongings in my move, like lots of things that were really special to me that I loved. And I took a lot of other L's throughout the fall after both these great things happened. And I didn't necessarily find gratitude and, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I lost all this stuff or that these other things happened. But I did think, well, I am so grateful that I have this amazing partner that I love and that I finally have finished my dissertation and I have this huge load off of me. So it didn't necessarily change my thinking about how terrible these other things were, but it did help me gratitude and to feel gratitude in my present moment. And it's something that I was able to carry on with me throughout the year, even though it's really hard to feel grateful when you're losing, things. But I was able to identify some of the other good stuff I had to help me get through that. But our word for Candace is radiance. So I was really excited about this because one of her big things was about confidence, and we're approaching this with more self-love. And across these three areas, being physically healthy, growing professionally, putting herself out there again, a lot of her goals were really about stepping into herself and trying new things and really showing up with a glow to do these things. And so Radiance really embodied those three aspirations and was really exciting for her to kind of even start to see herself as a radiant person. And so I thought it was really beautiful and exciting. So
I
that
love
was
that word.
Candace's.
I love that word, and I love how it looks on the screen too.
Yeah.
It is so radiant.
Yes. Um,
I'm
so
excited
yeah,
for Candace.
I know, me
Great.
too. And I don't know what y'all's words of the year are, but hopefully this was some inspiration to try to get one or nail one down. Do we
I
want
know a
to?
few people have to run. A couple of people had to leave at 11:45. So I want to say this before anybody else might need to jump off. That Etta and I both are therapists. We're located on James Island, and I wanted to let you guys know that we are running a discount on therapy services for the month of January. If you start this month, and for any sessions that you schedule in January, there's a 15% discount. So if that's something you're interested in, or if you know of friends or family who are looking for a therapist, now's a great time to jump on and get and benefit from that. So I just wanted to throw that out there before I forget or somebody needs to leave. But it's now a good time to open it up. And if anybody wants to kind of workshop one of their target areas or is struggling to find a word, feel free to unmute yourself or bring your video on. Oh, also, yes, those are some ways that you can contact us. Yeah, go back real quick. So if you want to screenshot this slide in case you guys need to reach either of us, or if you want the slides or the replay, you can screenshot this and you can email Etta. There's our website. You can schedule a free consultation through our website, and that's our location. We're right on the corner of Maybank Highway and Folly Road.